Welcome to the Mind the Gaffes podcast. Here's what you can expect.
My controversial opinion.
If God exists, he is an arse.
The solution to the Northern Ireland crisis is to make Northern Ireland independent from everything. And
Listen, I love Michael Jackson.
the way he makes you feel really turns you on. Yeah.
Well, I'm not a child, so probably not.
The media, the government, effectively gaslighting a whole nation.
I'm going to shit on my family, and that's how I'm going to get paid millions. I love the Queen. She was a bad bitch.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Mind the Gaffes podcast. I'm your host, Callum, and today you join us at the peak of Mount Gay in beautiful, sunny Barbados, and things, as they do, can only go down from here. Today we're discussing our controversial opinions and why you should be listening to them. Isn't that right, Luke?
Yes, listen, if there's anything people know me for, it's that I'm 100% honest. And listen, you think 100% honesty is the best policy until you hear what I have to say, which is when you hear my controversial opinions, you wish you didn't fucking say that because that was just a major regret.
Xenophobia.
No, I'm not fucking racist. Ross is just a sarcastic douchebag. And I've also started this podcast with several rums already, which is just going downhill, like Callum said. So normally I start the podcast sober. Yeah.
So I think I should kick us off. And I think in celebration of His wonderful Royal Highness, let's abolish the monarchy. What do you think about that? I mean, how to celebrate a new king, like abolishing the monarchy?
So that's your opinion, yeah?
So I personally think that as a nation, as the media, the government, effectively gaslighting a whole nation to tell us that we as people should be subjugated to a monarch. I personally believe that I don't know what the better alternative is, but it feels very not the right time to still have that. Like, I didn't mind the Queen. I was pro Lizzie.
I love the Queen. The Queen was like, she was a bad bitch, right? She was like 90 years old, still working hard. Like everyone else is retired, but she's still going. I love the Queen. Can't say the same thing for her children, but
it'll be a bit like North Korea if we still, revered a dead Queen, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but the Queen's gone now. So my opinion I love the royal family too. Well, the only thing I liked about the royal family was the Queen. So why do I now care?
She's got sons that were in the Falkland War, though. Like, that's something to...
Who doesn't swear like a Pizza Express?
Is that like when Harry was like working, with the military, and then he was like, "Yeah, I killed this many Taliban."
Oh, so we're getting into Harry and Meghan now. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just talking about.
No, I guess that bridge when we.
I guess they're not royal. He's not royal now, right? But yeah.
Right. So the question is, should we abolish the monarchy? I don't have any complex opinions on this topic.
So if somebody said
yes.
let's put a view to you. Let's say you are from a random person who doesn't know anything about the UK, and you'd have no concept of anything apart from the English language. And I spoke to you and I said, there is this person who is the leader of our people who, doesn't really have any special talent, doesn't really have any...
Not qualified, didn't get the job based on experience.
He's just there because his mum was there before him, because his grandfather was there before him, just because they were once, got the king title. That doesn't seem right. Do you agree?
No. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree with Luke's sentiment of like once Lizzie passed away, any of my like enthusiasm towards the royal family kind of died with that. I was like,
my only enthusiasm for the royal family was the first 2 seasons of The Crown on Netflix was fucking awesome. But then, I mean, the latter seasons.
all of like my like warmth and like nostalgia around like growing up with it.
Everyone loved Diana.
Diana. So
even though none of us were born.
Yeah, but she was kind of.
Well, allegedly everyone loved Diana.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think, there's definitely something for us as a country. We need to think about whether it actually changes.
So,
It's
the counter argument is always like along the lines of like, oh, it brings in tourism and people go to Green
A lot of
Park
people make
and
that.
look at.
I don't believe that.
But the thing is, people...
Because you don't go and actually see the Queen, do you?
So, yeah, the Palace of Versailles in France, top tourist attraction. I think I said this in a previous podcast. That they haven't had royalty for however many hundreds of years. People still... It's one of the top tourist attractions in Europe. People still go there. People don't go to physically see the Queen or the King, do they? They go to see the thing.
Well, or Buckingham Palace. But like Buckingham Palace is still going to be there.
Exactly.
It's not going to disappear. But like, how many people actually want to go to London because of royalty?
We're not proposing
genuinely.
like a British cultural revolution. That's not what we're proposing. It would still be there. People can still see it. People don't care about the pomp and pageantry, in all honesty. It looks weird.
A lot of people queued up to see the Queen.
The coffin.
The
I know, but that's because she's been there for 70 years.
But that's what I mean. Everyone loves it. So there's a different argument. There's should the royal family be abolished when the Queen was alive? And now there's should the royal family be abolished now she's gone? Because the only thing I liked about the royal family was the Queen. But not because she was the Queen, just because I respected the woman.
Yeah. Even though, really, her prime ministers would have done a lot more than she did. Despite outlasting all of them.
I like
She's still done a lot, right? But yeah, everyone loves the Queen. If you said your controversial opinion was you didn't like the Queen, get the fuck out my house.
Like, do you remember? Do you remember the Olympics where she did? Well, she didn't skydive, but she did the whole thing with James Bond.
That was amazing.
Craig. That was nice.
And there's a recent Paddington one as well. That was cute. Yeah,
lovely.
Everyone loves the Queen. Everyone loves the Queen. But now the Queen's gone.
Yeah.
Look at it objectively. Look, everyone's like, oh yeah, you know what? It's King now. It's very weird to say. Like King Charles, he's actually really good. You're only saying he's good is because the government's so shit that he looks amazing in comparison.
I don't read a lot of news. I haven't heard one thing. I don't know what he's up to. Like, has he been busy? Has he been in the news? Has he been...
I think he was, like, doing... I mean, he's pro-sustainability, so I like that. I'm very pro-sustainability. I agree with that. But, he is a privileged tart,
in his massive palace with like 48,000 radiators keeping it heated at all times.
Did you see the clip?
Staff of 2,000 people.
Did you see the clip of him like going off on one because his pen wasn't working? Yeah. It's funny. It's just like such a posh British response. I can't remember what he said. It's like, these poxy pens.
But yeah,
he's got sausage fingers.
They've got problems. Maybe it's centuries of, marrying family.
Inbreeding.
I mean, I didn't say that explicitly, but you did.
I mean, it is. You could just look at the family tree. Like, it's not like a scandalous thing to say.
No.
It is just inbreeding.
Yeah.
I'd say it was more exciting when Henry VIII was killing his wives. There was more. That would have made the Crown series a lot more entertaining, I think, because the last one was quite boring. So if King Charles just started killing all his wives, that would be a lot higher entertainment.
I did really chuckle at the idea of him and I think people did skits of it, but the idea that he was gonna join in, become king and be like, I'm gonna fucking change everything. I'm in power now.
I'm actually going to do something rather than just sit on the benches and mildly remark about you're not doing enough.
Last person to Windsor Palace gets executed starting now.
You should do a YouTube video. It's all fucking
Mr. Beast style.
Last person to leave the royal palace.
I became king of England and set a challenge for £5
million. It'd be like Squid
Game
UK.
Oh.
Yeah. You could do competitions based in the royal palace. It's such a big place. Yeah, underused as well. Yeah. All our taxpayers' money going towards heating these buildings. Fuck, have you seen my electricity bill? It's gone through the roof. Right, do they heat every... I want to know, do they heat every single room?
Yeah, of course.
Probably, yeah.
Right, well, there you go. The royal family should be abolished. Yeah, because why do I need to fund the electricity for that?
Yeah.
I guess the question that
And they're
people...
so unfathomably wealthy, and they have so many riches, and like...
So I guess the question that people always turn around and go is, well, what would you replace it with?
You don't replace it with anything. It doesn't need to be there. It does nothing.
One of those peep shows I have in Amsterdam. Just have that in the...
Peep shows? Explain what you mean.
Oh, God damn it. No, the peep...
I know the peep show.
Yeah.
Right,
No,
so what...
you know what a peep show is.
Yeah, but
I know of the
but
peep
what
show.
are you
the
saying
Channel
that people
4
that work in there should become our head of state?
No, like Buckingham Palace should just... I don't even know where I'm going with this.
You should have a Channel 4
So you
series.
so you want
of
to
The
turn
Crown.
Buckingham Palace into the red
Luke,
light
we're not
district?
talking about the Channel 4 show. We're talking about where you poke your head through a wall and you watch people have sex.
So you want it to be a red light district
So
of
they should make
that
Buckingham
part of
Palace,
London?
put all red lights outside and have a big sign saying
What
like
about
peep
purple
show
lights?
inside.
I mean,
No, you're not progressive enough. What about purple lights?
and purple, all the colours of the rainbow.
I mean, that might actually bring people to the UK more than the royal family.
That would build tourism, like, if we're
Yeah.
getting strategic here. Yeah.
So I think we're agreed. Off with his head.
You need to be more controversial. Here's a statement, okay? Harry and Meghan are fucking morons. What do you think of that?
I mean, we had a very context. We had a very heated discussion
At a steak restaurant.
or almost an argument with me and Ross on one side and Luke and his former partner. The whole debate was the reason for them breaking up.
No, they're in agreement, to be fair.
So
Listen,
yeah,
I've just absolutely like tripped people up here. I'm saying the royal family should be abolished, and I'm also saying Harry and Meghan can be
yeah.
a morons. Like, are you on the left or are you on the right? Like, you can't be sitting on the fence in the middle, mate. I'm like, that's such bollocks as well. Because why can't you have opinions that fall into different sides of the spectrum? I hate people who are like, if you're in the centre, you're sitting on the fence. No, I think if you're in the centre, that's because you're really thinking about your opinions. You're picking and choosing what you believe, and you're trying to understand it.
So why are they morons?
So I know what you're going to say, and you're going to talk about. I'm not Look, she may have encountered. Meghan may have encountered racism. Whatever.
She did encounter
Okay, fine. She
racism.
encountered racism. I'm not defending that. Okay. I'm not gonna Piers Morgan it and say, well, I don't fucking believe you. Like, I'm not talking about that. I'm specifically talking about the fact that Harry, I'm more Harry, to be honest. He's literally threw his family into the shitter. And if I did that to my family, I wouldn't respect you. You've literally wrote a book. You've done a documentary while you're also saying you don't want the spotlight anymore. And you're making millions off of these things. And you're like, sure, you're telling your story, but, you know, fuck you. You just literally slaughtered your family. And to be honest, like, I think a lot of people in the royal family are fucking idiots, to be honest. Like, I don't like I like the Queen. That's who I liked.
But the one thing I would say, you would say it's a controversial opinion. The opinion you're spouting is also the opinion that's pushed by the right-wing press in this country, and like a majority of them.
I would say more. Callum, you might be the only person I've talked about this topic with who is like on my side in any way defending. A lot of people.
What are you defending specifically?
Everyone I've talked to thinks that Meghan and Harry, it's all their fault. They're attention seeking. They want money. They want attention. They're lying about their family. They're ruining their family. That, I would say, from my experience, that's like actually a pretty consistent opinion I've seen.
And I think the thing that you can say is, I respect them for making the decision to want to build their own life, and I think that they should be allowed to do that. I do think some of, and I'm more pro Meghan and Harry, but in the sense that I do think some of their behaviour does counteract with that at times. I think
it does seem
let me finish.
I was just going to say, it does seem a bit contradictory.
So, no, but I think the point
hold
is,
the
I
line.
can respect them for wanting to make their own life and decisions. I think some of their arguments are contradictory because they go, we want privacy, and then they do. There's a fine line between sensationalism and wanting to get your side of the story. And I think they should be respected for wanting to give their side of the story. But I think that ultimately, I think that they are unfairly harassed by the media, the gossip journals, which are basically the red tops and all them
So
kind of things.
I agree with you that the media is toxic and fucking awful. Like, I don't dispute that whatsoever. But that also doesn't mean I like them.
No.
I think they're trash human beings and terrible to their family.
I would say, like, look at what, like Meghan especially, like, look at what she actually went through, like, in context. And by the way, this is all the things that happened to Diana, and there's debate whether the reason she was being chased by paparazzi and stuff. Her life was fucking miserable. Every single thing she said was under a microscope. Everything she did, everywhere she went.
Like her at the time, I don't.
She was people loved her at the time, and
but did the media like her at any point, or was it just the people?
I don't
know specifically. I think it was more split, but I think they were still whether they liked her or not. I think she was the most photographed woman in like all of history. Like the level of like intensity she had to live through with her life. All of that all applied to Meghan and Harry. And if you actually look at like the timeline, originally like press kind of liked her, like they were like indifferent about her, especially when they were just like dating and stuff. And I don't know what like the catalyst was specifically, but there was a point in time where they just shifted. Like everything, all of the opinion was like shifted over to all of a sudden that like it's hard to imagine a situation where like obviously you're a public figure, you've got to speak publicly, you're marrying a royal, everything you're going to do is going to be public, but you're under a microscope to the point where like everything you say, every time you move your eyebrow in a certain way, there's going to be a body language expert on TV.
Every time you buy an avocado and they judge it, but then Kate Middleton does it and it's perfectly fine.
But also, I would also say, you know, the saying, don't feed the trolls. Right, they've massively fed the trolls. These documentaries and books.
Right, so to finish my thought,
you're literally saying your brother beat you up.
Finish my thought. We'll get to that in a minute. But to finish my thought, right, so she's under this huge amount of massive microscope. Everything she's doing, everything she wears, the hypocrisy between what Kate Middleton can do and what she can do.
That's stupid, yeah.
So she's in a situation, same with Harry, where...
Who cares what she wears?
The public's turning on them, the press are turning on them. They're saying all these... there's all this talk about there's real problems going on in the royal family. They're not getting any word out. The royal family are turning on them. I think it's reasonable for them to naturally, despite wanting to, you want to run away from all of that because you're like, this is a fucking nightmare. My life's a nightmare. I'm miserable. This is ruining our relationship. Like, I can't live like this. This is just insufferable. So part of you is like, I need to run away from it. There's another really strong part of you, which is like, I want to clear my name. All these lies are flying around about me. I want to have an opportunity. Now, the argument is
clear
like...
your name at the expense of what? And why do you need to?
Because is that not a natural inclination?
If somebody
want to clear your name?
is slinging mud at you, as the press were to them, and you aren't able to respond, that is ultimately, it's not fair because the amount of stuff that's going at them, it's not fair.
Okay, but like in Harry's book, he's literally like talking about the beating up situation. Like, I think it was in the kitchen or something, threw him against the cupboard. I'm like, how is that defending against what the press is saying? That was uncovered information.
So I would say, like, the original Oprah interview, I think was very justifiable. I think it's more than natural for her to want to go out there and talk about things. Again, she got absolutely berated for that. The other thing that goes against, because she's an actress, everything she does is seen as insincere. There's nothing she can do, which the press will perceive as genuine because she's acting, she's pretending.
Yeah.
What kind of bizarre catch-22 is that where, like, there's no perceivable situation where you can be perceived as genuine because at every possible opportunity they're going to say you're acting? That's a nightmare scenario. And so I think the Oprah thing was justified.
That's stupid. I never perceived it as acting.
But that was a common thing.
Yeah.
Oh, she's just an actress. She's pretending to be upset.
Yeah,
or
I
whatever.
truly believe that's the way she felt.
Well,
So I think the key thing with this whole thing
But that's the
is
way she
that
felt.
there has to be more, like a lot of things, there has to be more nuance around certain parts of how things are portrayed. I think my views did change a tiny bit when the whole book came out. Yeah. I think that...
Is it full of plot holes? I mean, I've not read it, but
I've
that's probably what I've heard the right-wing media saying, how like flawed it is and doesn't make sense and all
I
that
think
thing.
there needs to be more nuance around, like I was saying earlier, you can have respect for what they've done and trying to put their family first, but you can see some of the pitfalls in the way they've attacked it.
So,
yeah.
like the book, the reason I said we'll come to that is like, I do think that was pretty embarrassing. Like that for me, that was like past the point of just defending yourself. At that point, it really was like, no, you are just talking about things that don't need to be talked about publicly, especially the fight, especially when he's talking about his penis oscillating or whatever. That was
losing his virginity in the car park behind a pub.
Yeah, no one cares. Yeah. No, it's too much. You've got a spotlight on you because of the controversy, and it's just so odd.
But I thought you didn't want the spotlight, Harry.
Yeah, so I think once he got to that point, I was a bit like, okay, this is like impossible to defend at this point.
You know, some people say, no, they're just supporting their family. I'm like, get a fucking job, you dickhead.
So, you know,
like where your job isn't like just slating your... Who would want to do that? That's like being one of those, traffic wardens that just collects fucking give you speeding tickets, or parking tickets. You're like, this is a terrible job. I'm literally just bringing misery to people. I'm not bringing any happiness in the world.
I would say
that's the same kind of job. They're like, I'm gonna shit on my family, and that's how I'm gonna get paid millions.
I would say you
do something else.
You probably think she's like a bad person. I know people who genuinely vitriolically, and these are like family members or friends who I think have a pretty reasonable, vitriolically hate her, like deep into their soul, like hate
it keeps them up at night.
Like you talk about it and you feel the rage, and I can only think that's come from this just repetition of like this coverage.
It's not normal.
Like, she's just a woman that you've never met. No, you shouldn't hate unless she's like a child murderer or like she's just a like.
I don't know why I laughed at that. But.
She's a woman who's met someone.
But it's because
fell
it's
in love, and people say, oh, they're not even in love, and she's done it all for attention. Whatever. She's a woman. She's met someone. She's got married. She says she's fallen in love.
I've heard opinions of like, oh yeah, she's just a climber. She's like, oh yeah, got the print.
But these are all these are all claims. One, you can never prove any of these claims, and two, you can never disprove it.
The point is why you laughed at comparing her to a child murderer is because that's how much hate they are throwing towards her is similar to likes of people who have gone into prison for child murder. That is someone to hate who killed or done things to children or any kind of murderer for that matter. But that's the kind of level of hate the media are putting to her.
But I think, if you talk about the Lineker situation or any situation that the news are just covering nonsense for loads of periods of time, it's just, tell me fucking news.
Yeah.
Why do I care? Don't give them the documentary. No one cares, but people do care. Oh, just get a fucking life.
What actually surprised me the most about the Harry and Meghan thing was I didn't realise how much people even were cared at all.
Yeah.
But I started talking about it, and I was taken aback about I didn't realise how much it had seeped into people's consciousness and
Yeah. That was very spicy. I think anything about Meghan and Harry in the UK gets very spicy. And hopefully in the comments down below it gets spicy as well.
When we upload this episode, the coronation's happening.
Exactly. It's very close and he might be appearing.
Is Harry appearing? Is Meghan appearing now? I don't know that.
Meghan is staying at home with the kids because if she'd have turned up, they would have said it was all about her. And then she's not turning up, they say it's all about her. Yeah. So whatever she does, she'd be in the wrong. So that was a particularly spicy debate we had there about Meghan and Harry, and I think that should be left where it is. So Ross.
Why does everyone keep getting our names wrong, man?
7 years of knowing you and I still get it wrong.
He gets our names mixed up still somehow.
Everyone does. Everyone calls me Ross. And you always get called Luke. It pisses me off. And now everyone else is going to call it.
So my controversial opinion is that no matter how problematic an artist is, if their music's like good enough, if it's enough of a bop, you should still be able to listen to it, and it shouldn't be a problem.
No, I agree.
I think it's a difficult one because, you know, like Michael
What, are they
Jackson,
a child molester?
Yeah.
all them accusations.
Right, so I'll throw out some songs, and you tell me whether it's So okay, so Kanye West now.
Oh, okay. I see. Where
So
this is
many
going.
good songs. Is that a thumbs up, a thumbs
Mate,
down?
that is 99 Problems.
That's not a Kanye song.
Well, yes. What's that? Jay-Z?
50 Cent.
50?
No. Is it Jay-Z?
Oh my god, this is just like
We're so white. Anyway, it's not a Kanye song. I know that for sure. Right, so Kanye West, are we saying too problematic?
I think
How long do we need to wait before we can...
I think you need to wait till he's dead.
Oh, God.
So I can listen to Michael Jackson
But I
and
think
people won't
it
say
also
I'm supporting
varies depending where
paedophilia.
you are in the world because, you know, like in the US they play a lot of Gary Glitter songs.
Do
And
they?
obviously he's back in prison again in this country.
What is a Gary Glitter song? What's like his top tune?
I can't remember her name
I can't think of it like... But they obviously don't... They definitely don't play it on the radio here.
Listen, can I just translate this to actors though?
Right.
Like, I really wanted the final season of House of Cards, and I was really
Yeah.
upset that
Yeah.
everyone came out against Kevin Spacey because I really wanted to finish that series.
It's a very selfish and take, but...
I was like, couldn't you fucking came out a year later just so I could have been...
Okay, what about... Yeah.
I'm like, I want him to get done. You know, he's a piece of shit. But can you just do it after the series
He's
is
also
finished?
such a good actor.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
so good. So it's like, separate the art from the artist.
So who else are you thinking?
R. Kelly, Bump and Grind.
But they're still playing that. That's the thing. You listen
Right.
to History,
Yeah.
and when it's playing in the gym, you know, the beats pumping,
Yeah.
and then you hear Bump and Grind or
Because every so often, like, people say, oh, you can't listen to that. Like, I just think it's so harmless, especially if you're on Spotify. You're not even, you're giving that person like
yeah.
fractions of a penny.
Okay.
I think you just get on with it. You just listen.
Yeah, well, a lot of people just get
Chris Brown?
straight up cancelled.
But he was producing music after he hit Rihanna, wasn't he?
Chris Brown just somehow, he
He wrote it out.
tried to beat Rihanna to death, and then he just somehow...
But wait, was it that far?
Yeah, I think he tried to kill her. That's another controversial opinion. I think if you read the police report,
I
it
don't
was
know.
fucking
I
horrific.
can say I have not read the police report, Ross.
It was fucking horrific. Like, he punched her a lot of times very hard in the
wow.
face. So, you know, actually, to be fair, that Chris Brown might be the only artist where I'm like, I didn't listen to his music anyway, but I will just...
Yeah, well, that's why you didn't
I
listen
will, like,
to it anyway,
avoid-
so you don't care.
Yeah.
But he still is producing music, and I think it's still.
He's got
Okay,
loads
but
of fans.
here's the thing:
He's doing
when you
so
listen,
well.
when you listen to music,
Mm.
what do you want out of listening to music?
Good tunes.
And if all you're thinking about when you listen to their music is they did this, then you're not enjoying the music.
Yeah. True.
So it depends. It's context is key.
But I also think with Chris Brown, like, you got The Weeknd now, so you kind of got your bases covered.
I don't get the joke.
I just think he makes like similar enough music, so I could just
To The
listen
Weeknd.
I could just
Okay.
listen to The Weeknd
Yeah.
instead.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, so you have a different artist. Yeah, similar vibes. Yeah, The Weeknd's great though. I love. The
Yeah, has he
Weeknd.
done anything?
Although everything's about sex
Yeah.
and breakups.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a bit like Ed Sheeran, really.
we've
We're
already talked about it.
I
we're gonna
know.
complain about Ed Sheeran
But that's
all the
like
time.
law for episode 1 listeners.
Wow. Shout out Ed.
It took me like several listens to realise I Feel It Coming was about coming.
I'm really
Yeah.
surprised they play that on the radio so much.
I know that's quite wild. Isn't it?
Yeah. Was it on a something grey movie?
Grey movie.
Shades of Grey, whatever you
50
call it.
Shades.
I
Great.
feel it coming.
Was it on that?
I
Or-
feel it coming, baby.
yeah.
Sorry.
So
didn't need to hear
is that your
That
controversial
was
opinion
it.
over? I think
I just
that-
get annoyed with people who will get funny if, like, especially when it was like the Kanye thing of like, yeah, all of his business.
I mean, there's
he's just done too many good songs, and I can't be bothered to.
Here's an interesting one. I'm talking more about actors because I know more about shit and film landscape. But like, obviously, Kevin Spacey got cancelled, right? And then they stopped film production. What happens if you finish production? The new Flash film coming out with Ezra Miller. He's done all sorts of shit. Like, I can't remember exactly, but like abducting a girl or grabbing someone by the throat, or also the second one might not be true, but he's doing stuff like that, and it's quite wild. But he's not been sacked, and he's not been sacked because the film has finished post-production, like production. Sorry, they've filmed it. They want to release it. Apparently, it's a really good film. It's not out yet in the UK, at least.
I mean,
if enough money's on the line for a studio,
they'll
like shove that.
I need to release that first, and then see what happens.
They might even take him off the poster. I don't know. Like
they did on one of them. They took his face off. Yeah,
which is hilarious because he is the Flash. But
so basically, here's the opinion on it from a corporate perspective. It's like, yes, I will not listen to that artist or actor unless my bank account's impacted.
Yeah,
money rules the world, folks.
I think it's it's an interesting one. I think also it questions how much the public like a figure as well. If it's someone who's generally liked, I think people will overlook it.
Listen, I love Michael Jackson. I don't give a fuck. I love Michael Jackson. His songs are great.
He does make really good
The way
songs.
he makes you feel really turns you on. Yeah.
Well, I'm not a child, so probably not.
So that one out.
So here's my controversial opinion. Okay, this is quite deep. Okay, this might make some sensitive people get really irritated.
Don't get triggered.
If God exists, he is an arsehole.
Oh, can I unsay what I just said?
I think the issue on this one...
I didn't know what his opinion was.
I think on this one, the problem is we are all... I mean, I was Christian, but I'm not religious. I think we all are in that boat. I don't know if you're a Christian, but you're not religious. And I think that's...
Look, listen, okay, I'll say what I think. And please, people in the comments, engage. Tell me why I'm a piece of shit.
Slap that like button like you're God.
Dislike this video.
No, reverse psychology. I like that. Yeah.
Actually dislike it.
Actually,
well, you can't see the dislike buttons anyway, so get fucked.
We need to get trending with like the evangelical community to start sharing and hating on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop beef.
Right. So here's my opinion. Okay. And right. So would you all agree that we are God's children if God existed? Yeah, we are God's children. Okay. Right. So let's make a parent analogy. Okay. Okay. So I'm a dad. I've got a son. Okay. And what happens is my son decides to cross the road. Cross the road joke here. And a car decides to hit him. That's another one of my sons in driving the car. Drives the car. My son gets hit. He needs to go to hospital. Do I help him? No. Get fucked. Figure it out yourself, mate.
He should have looked before he crossed the road.
Yeah, it's your problem. You have your own choices in life. You do what you want. Am I going to take him to hospital? No, I don't give a fuck. It's your life, mate. Go figure it out.
Yeah, that's a bad analogy because he could have looked before he crossed the road. Better analogy would be like he got cancer and it's like nothing to do.
No. But that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm not going to do anything to help people. I'm just saying this is your sandbox. Go figure it out, and I don't care, and I will never respond to you, and I'll never do anything.
I think also it very much is predicated on the lifestyle you grow up in the world, and I would say that for a lot of people, we're in very privileged position. One, of our skin color, two, of the country we've grown up in, and three, in the part of the country we've grown up in. We've grown up very close to one of the major cities globally. If you are a poor family from a rural part of a developing economy and you're struggling from day to day and you need to look to something which might possibly help you and God and religion might be that thing. As much as it might sound silly to us, that's something that tangibly a lot of people hold on to.
Or Andrew Tate will tell you to like rise and grind and
whatever.
No, but I agree with that. I agree that religion does help people, but that still doesn't diffuse the point that I think if he existed, he's just a complete dick, because he's not doing anything to help. Like cancer exists, homelessness exists.
yeah.
Like, all these terrible things exist. Putin exists. Like, how the fuck did that happen? Rishi Sunak's in power. Like, what's going on? Like, why are they...
I wouldn't
allowing
put
these things to...
Rishi Sunak and Putin in the same basket.
But, you know, don't you only enjoy the good times because of the bad times?
Oh, well, that's true. You know,
If we lived in like a utopia...
You can't compare that. You can't appreciate things if you haven't had shit.
Yeah.
You haven't shoveled shit. I get
can't
that.
appreciate
But also,
not getting hit by a bus if you don't see the
cancer-
other kid get hit by a
But
bus.
cancer, HIV, like, why?
Huh?
Why did COVID have to happen?
Hmm?
Was that just like God just making a meme? Just like, you guys get out
I
too much?
mean, it depends.
Something to do with the factory in China. I don't know. I don't read the news.
Why does China exist? Thanks, God.
Oh my God, please don't say that. I would like to say that we
Yeah.
respect the one China principle. We just don't recognize which China is which. Go Taiwan. Do you know what? We need the Chinese internet trolls to start coming after us as well. We want the religious trolls. We want the Chinese trolls. Let's get the Russian trolls next.
Yeah.
I think I agree with your point. I think I'm not religious, but none of us are. I think I don't understand why people do place so much thought into there being an ulterior being, but I think that's just how much people are invested in.
I'm not even saying whether he exists or not. I'm not having that debate. I'm just saying if he
was to
did exist, thanks. Thank you.
It is part of his plan.
Yeah, it's all part of God's plan. That's what they say. Like, what, your plan's to make my life fucking difficult? Or it makes me a better person in the end? Well, what if my child died?
Luke, is this about
Like,
your...
what, is that part of your plan? Like, fuck you.
Is this about your hairline again?
Stop fucking piece of shit.
So you're basically saying,
Don't worry, I'm losing my hair as well, so...
are you? Where?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting it at the back. I'd rather mine be at the front than at the back. Yeah, that's going to go in 5 years. You're going to be one
And
of
it's
those
only
old
happening
men.
because of all the times I took the piss out of Luke. It's my
Yeah,
karma
that's
coming.
karma.
That shows there is a God. 'cause
Is karma a God thing, or maybe that's in a different
think that's a
religion
different
from
religion.
Christianity? But
Yeah.
what
I
religion
think
is that?
Is it an Eastern religion? I think it might be Buddhism or Hinduism.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think you're right.
sounds
actually.
about right. Shall I hit you with a spicy hot... I'm going to get it.
Oh, it's
off
back
my
to
phone.
Canham. It's
No,
back to Canham.
if you got one, go for
Oh.
it.
Okay.
Cotton Hills.
I reckon Yorkie is for boys and girls.
Is that it?
My controversial opinion
Do you know
is
what, if we were-
Yorkie is for boys and for girls.
Do you know what? If we were on Talk TV, this
Wait,
would
no,
be
I can't. I shouldn't say that because that means I'm excluding. It's for boys, girls, and
That doesn't roll off the tongue,
Right,
whatever you're about
right,
to say for marketing. There's only so many words you can have in a slogan, mate. It's just,
I think it's for everyone.
yeah,
it's for
that's-
they.
Not just boys.
It's for they.
No, it's for everybody.
It's for everybody.
No, everyone is better because then.
Body.
Can we not talk about pronouns anymore? Because I'm like,
So
I just don't want to.
sweating.
I think
I'm fucking
do you know what?
sweating.
This
like,
is where
jeez.
if we were, Talk TV or GBBs, we would be raging the fact that it isn't just for men anymore. But I think everybody knows that men and women
I
and
said
everyone
boys
of
and
every
girls. I should have
gender,
said it's for men because it's for men and women,
And
not boys and girls.
everyone of every
Kinda bollocks that
gender,
up.
everyone
you
of
did.
every gender can have
Was that a
whatever
gaff?
chocolate they want.
That was a gaff. I got the.
So get that learner
got the
plate.
thing
Right,
wrong.
go get that learner plate. Go on. Go get a fucking learner plate.
Can you not talk to me like I'm a dog?
Go on, boy. Go on.
No, I'm definitely.
You
not
didn't say
getting it.
man. You said boy. Go get that fucking learner plate, boy.
Stop talking to me like I'm a dog.
Anyway,
Go fetch.
You can
Go
fuck off.
get the. Oh, fucking get it then.
Let's sit down.
Just say.
I'm getting the learner plate.
All you had to say was, "Can you grab the plate, please?"
Don't break my
Instead of
laptop.
talking to me like a dog.
He made a major gaffe, so.
And for our audio listeners, he is
How did
playing.
you do this earlier?
For our audio listeners, he is placing a learner plate
Oh, there we
from
go.
a car onto the microphone because obviously people listening won't understand what's going on right now.
No, that doesn't sound right. It's for everybody. It was what I was supposed to say. Everyone.
Okay, I think we've lost the gag now.
Yeah, we can cut that whole thing.
I think so I think the next controversial opinion, and this came up earlier and I've stolen it. The solution to the Northern Ireland crisis is to make Northern Ireland independent from everything. And
Very political.
so I think, Northern Ireland is just such a web of problems that ultimately you can have issues if they remain joint Ireland, and you're going to have issues
Finding this so funny.
if they stay part of the UK. So why not just propose an independent Northern Ireland, just doing its own thing, with their great accent, and just let them have fun?
What'd you do about the border?
But the border will be borders with everyone, so it's borders with no one.
Borderless.
Would they just be? Would they be in the EU? Like
No,
what
they would be Northern Ireland. So I
They would
think.
have no trade deals.
So I think the idea
They
is
just fend
that
for themselves.
unless we just become a
Grow potatoes.
Republic of Ireland becomes the country of the UK.
Mm.
So I think that it could be a solution.
Yeah.
That's what we have to add.
I don't have anything to add to this because I
Okay.
have no.
It's a
fucking
very
clue.
complicated.
I've
issue.
literally
Do you know
know
what?
nothing about it.
Do you know what I would like to go on to next? It's politically related.
Mm.
So the 5th of May, or the 4th of May,
May the 4th be with you.
is the local elections in most English councils. And I would just like to say local democracy is dead in the UK.
Okay.
And do you want to know why?
Why?
It's like I've got some election leaflets here, and I'm in the wonderful borough of Thurrock, which is currently £1 billion in debt for dodgy solar schemes. So this is one of the candidates, and it's screenshots of Facebook comments, and he's talking like, Dan says, Gary, we need straight talkers and straight walkers like yourself, Gary. Julie says, what area are you? Can't go wrong. Off you message. Whatever that means. And then this one, which doesn't actually have a name from it, so maybe it's from Gary. Have the utmost respect for Councillor Byrne. He has gone above and beyond. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. And it's whole... there's no context to any of these
They're
messages.
all different sizes.
Do
Like,
you know what the worst thing about it? He didn't even spell his surname right on the back page.
oh.
And then, so you'd think, oh, that's just an
Yeah, I
independent
need to look at that
candidate.
as well.
That's from an
What one
independent...
didn't he show? That's what I want to know. What's the dirt?
it's a load of nonsense. So, but you would think...
Glad at least one councillor cares about the interests of this community.
But you would expect, he's from the Thurrock Independents. That's the ex-UKippers on Thurrock Council. So
Did
you'd think...
Thurrock vote UKIP before?
Once upon a time. But you'd think, oh, the Conservatives, they're a big party. They might do better. Well, yeah, they do a bit better. I mean, their graphic design isn't much to talk about. I mean, it's just yellow and blue and, everything. But one of their top things, ULEZ. And I'm not talking about it now because it's boring. But they couldn't even spell ULEZ right on their election leaflet. One of their key points.
ULEX.
They call it ULEX. And you just think, it's just depressing. It's depressing that we get representatives. I don't know what this guy stands for.
Callum, Ross just pointed this out with the spelling. Awful noise.
I know.
Awful noise. Not awful noise. Awful noise.
And it's just
AWFU.
the fact that is the state of our local
They
politics.
can't
in this
even
country.
get fucking grammar right.
They can't get the spelling right, and it's just
Do they not
it's a
like?
load of nonsense.
Do they not use spelling correction on Word? I don't fucking know.
And
like we're not being like grammar Nazis, but it's just a lack of attention
How
to
can you put
detail
awful
and
noise?
you can't
And
like that.
If
that
you- but
you can't
here's-
even spell your name right.
If you can't
Yeah.
spell your name right, how are you gonna do policies that are gonna help run the country?
that's so funny.
So
I'd like to see- I mean-
that's why I made a point of bringing these with
That
me.
was pretty
So
good.
illustrate your point. That's
Yeah.
fucking diabolical. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, there's some world leaders right now I think would struggle to spell their name correctly. So
Who are you thinking of?
I think Biden might struggle.
I mean,
Biden will struggle.
Do you know
to
You
what-
gave
speak.
him 5 minutes and a pen and paper, and you're like, go.
He wouldn't get to the pen
no.
and paper.
Look,
He'd
look.
fucking wobble.
I think in his time, had he been like 20 years earlier in his prime, I think he would have been a lot better.
Yeah, 20 years ago, he had some wild opinions.
Can I just say, like, Biden pisses me off.
Oh yeah, it was a pro-gay marriage, was it?
Here's why Biden pisses me off, because when you search "mind the gaffes" at the moment, as of what's the date?
It's sometime on the beginning of May, 1st of May.
1st of May 2023. If you search "mind the gaffes," you'll see a load of our videos, and then just Joe Biden everywhere making
Yeah.
gaffes
Yeah.
because he's fucking
But
stupid.
that was a really interesting thing in the media because they didn't quite want to admit that he was losing his cognitive function. So they just called it gaffes. So everyone in the media was called, that was like the buzzword was, we're going to call it a gaff. Because it almost makes it sound like trivial.
But going back to
like-
that's what they always called it with Prince Philip when he said something racist.
He's had a gaff.
He's had a
It's
gap.
the same playbook.
Oh, that's our podcast name. Oh, that was
Ah.
so.
Did you not just click? Fuck me, Callum. A bit slow.
Are
You're not
we-
paying attention to detail, are you, Callum?
Are we losing our cognitive ability at a young
No,
age?
you are.
We are. I am.
Have you even had anything to drink?
I haven't. I've only had Coca-Cola Zero.
Can you have do you want a cider?
No, I'm driving.
But you can have one.
I'm not having any. I'm working tomorrow.
I'm working tomorrow.
Yeah, but you're working from home.
Oh.
I'm working from home as well, so it's not really an excuse. I'm driving.
What is he talking about?
So yeah, so I think you're right about Biden. The thing is, bad as it sounds, it does when he speaks sometimes. It reminds me of my granddad at the latter stages of his life
Yeah.
when I listen to him, and I'm
Some
not
of it's incoherent.
even like that one. Where he's
Are you alright?
sorry, I can't. Even
Fucking Callum's lost his cognitive ability.
like the one. Where,
You talk about Biden too much, you start to catch on.
so this sorry, I just spat on the microphone. That might turn some people on.
Get it together, man.
So, that is that one where he just says like a load of words in one thing.
Oh, wait, I
I
actually.
don't know what he's saying, but it's making me laugh.
Someone did an edit where they just they were doing the
It was Steve
captions and they just put all the words in just one. It's like, who's from Barack? It's just
Sorry.
all in one go.
So
Oh.
I think Biden, he wants to run again. He'll be like 86 by the time he's over or dead.
He's only
Run again?
Isn't he
He
only
can't
like,
fucking walk.
Isn't he over?
He's too busy in bed
Isn't
with
he only
Jill.
like 5 years older than Trump though?
They're similar age. Oh yeah, I'm not
They're
saying
a
either
similar
of them are
age.
good.
But Trump's on the good stuff.
Trump, like, as much as you hate him or like him or whatever, like, he has better fucking banter.
He does have.
I mean,
He has better
I
banter.
don't really.
He's got good comedic timing.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's intentional most of the time.
If it's not, he's just good. He could have been a.
I
stand-up.
He has good
I
banter.
just want to say you're speaking only in regards to his comedic timing,
Yeah,
not
he
his
was funny.
policy.
No. We're not speaking about policies. I'm saying he has better banter. That's just objectively true.
He was a nightmare, but he was pretty funny.
He
Like when he
is.
called Ted Cruz's wife a dog in that debate, that was just funny. It's not a nice thing to say, but it was like.
And like everyone memes about Trump because it's fucking hilarious. Nobody
It's
makes
been-
podcasts better than I do. Nobody does this better than I do. You know?
I mean,
it's
some
fucking
of
hilarious.
some of the names like Ron de Sanctimonious. It's
That's
just,
good.
uh,
That's good.
but I mean, I think it's going to be weird if they just do a rerun with both of them.
What's the point?
There's got to be someone else. Get someone.
There's never anyone.
Get anyone.
Look, we're getting political. Like, the whole system's fucked, right? We're fucked. We're always fucked. You can only choose between two
Or
fucking
you can only choose people that can't spell
idiots
their surname.
and
How did
people
we
can't
get?
spell
Where
their
do we?
surnames.
How do we even get onto?
Controversial opinions.
Talking about politics.
Right, let's move on. Okay.
Because you didn't want to say anything about Northern Ireland.
Right, I know my opinion. Let's get light on this conversation. Nothing deep here. Listen, birthday and Christmas cards are totally and utterly fucking pointless.
May I say something? I completely agree with you.
Woo!
Yeah, I do.
Callum?
I do just agree with you. Don't.
Okay.
And I want to say, I think
Did
it's...
you call me Callum as a joke?
Did I?
Yeah.
Did I just call him Callum then?
You literally just went Callum. You get the L plate.
That is a gaff. No, but here's why I think they're pointless, okay? Here's what most people do who don't put any thought into it. They're like, hi, Luke, or hi, whoever. Happy birthday, or Merry Christmas. Lots of love. Your name. XXX. You've literally put zero thought into this. This is such an emotionless response. You're not giving me anything worth a damn me reading this. Why did you spend £2.50 on this card to just absolutely tell me nothing other than the bare minimum of what I expect?
I will say generally I agree with you. Let me rephrase what I meant. But I will say there are times when so for example, with Lloyd being away for a year,
Your husband.
my husband, every sort of special occasion before he went, I got a card for each one. I wrote like a nice message in each one because we weren't going to be together. There's a reason why I did it. And I think I found it nice when he sent me a card as well with like a nice message, because obviously we weren't together, or we weren't together in person, I should say correctly. But I think the point still stands in general. Cards are, outside of certain occasions, are quite pointless and just a waste of...
It's pointless in the sense that, say you buy like a 20 pack of Christmas cards and you're just like, just filling them out and Merry Christmas. Like, you're not saying anything. Like, I'd honestly rather have a voice message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually personalised.
Or a phone call.
Or, yeah, just talk to, like, that means more. You know, if you... There are some exceptions, okay, where I've adjusted my opinion because I did get some decent, funny cards where it was like, I don't know, whether it's a romantic one and I like my cheese and I love my brie, and then it's, will you brie mine? And I think that's funny, right? That's funny, okay? I've had an emotional response from this card. Why are you getting a? Oh, fuck's sake! Don't.
What does it say?
This is
Do you want me to read them all out for our
Go
audio
on, go on,
listeners?
make some cheese jokes from this
I've
card.
Stiltons of love for you. We're so much better to cheddar. You are brilliant. Damn, you're looking fine.
Right, stop there. Should we think of one? Yeah, let's know. I can think of one.
That's all the cheese is on there, mate.
Yeah, we ran
You
out of
never
cheeses.
have to be provolone again.
Oh dear.
I come and bear to be up without you. I love holding hands when you're parmesan mine. You're my Roquefort forever. Roquefort ever.
So the
How'd
irony
you
of
get a Australian bear out of a cave? Come on, bear.
That is awful.
the irony is of this, all those messages is that relationship fell apart.
Well, no, it didn't fall apart. You loved each other.
Yeah, it worked out.
And
For a
I
long
think
period of
you're
time.
still both friends. She's still part of Circle friends.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that goes.
Tequila, fucking shots. Yeah.
So Ross, what's your next Napa Pitri opinion?
My controversial opinion. Sake tastes awful, and people only pretend to like it when they're at a fancy Japanese restaurant. To
Weebs.
seem pretentious and maybe seem like they're interesting, but really deep down they're just barely getting through it. Because
So sake is like at least the popular drink in Japan, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Like
It's
everyone
like
talks
rice
about
wine.
Like a
having some sake.
spirit.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we had your rice wine shot on the previous podcast, and that
In
was
Korea.
fucking diabolical as well.
Wasn't good.
They just
I
don't.
mean, it wasn't Japan, but yeah.
It's just not enjoyable, and I feel like people pretend like I don't believe in
However,
my heart that anyone actually enjoys drinking.
Can I play
it.
devil's advocate? Okay.
No.
Okay, I'll shut up then. Shut up.
Yeah, go on.
You go and don't. No, it's fine. No, I'll fucking shut up. Yeah. Look, I didn't like wine before I got into it. Like, the first time you have something, it does take a little while getting used to.
I just don't think I'll ever. Who's drinking enough sake to get?
Or Japanese.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying if I go to a restaurant with like someone I know, and they're like, "Oh, let's get sake," and it's so yummy.
The response
I
is
don't believe
tourist.
I don't believe it. That's what I'm saying. I think it's nonsense.
I am yet to find one that I've actually enjoyed. In all honesty,
So have you had a lot?
I haven't had tons, but I've had from that part of the world, like things like baijiu or not soju, but similar kind of things. I've never really enjoyed it.
They're pretty heavy drinkers in Japan, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like there's like a culture of
Well, the
like
salary men.
yeah.
They're like, yeah, fucking working 6 a.m. to
Working
9 p.m.
to 9.
And then they
9
can
to
get
9,
fucked up.
and then
In
they
it-
just get drunk, and then they go to work next day. It's actually quite a toxic. This is a complete tangent, but yeah, from what I've heard, it's quite a toxic working culture. I'd rather do my 9 to 5.
In China, they have similar thing, like a big tech companies, I call it 996. 9 to 9, 6 days a week.
Wow.
Crazy. But it's similar kind of thing but the difference in Japan is it's the focus is the emphasis on obligatory after work events that you have to go to but you're not paid for. So it's like
You
going
can't
to the
make it mandatory.
but
That's ridiculous.
it's part of the culture, otherwise they get rid of
Culturally-
you.
If you don't
obligated.
turn up, you're just
You will
a
just be
waste of space.
ostracized. But it's going to like the KTV karaoke, it's doing soju, and then ending the night in like one thing I do think we should have is, and I've said this many times, capsule hotels. You know, you just pop in, and you've had a late night out. It's 2:00, and you pay for 5 hours, and you wake up and go to work the next morning.
Yeah, how
That'd
has
be
that
great.
not made it over here?
I don't
Is
know.
it must be like a regulatory,
Must be a
like
fire
minimum
regulation.
requirements for like how much space should be allocated to one person, like because I
They want to
100%.
keep feeding the Uber industry. I don't know. I want people to get cabs and spend all their money. You know?
It's got to be like a health and safety thing, but I would 100% like there would be so many nights where I'd just like pay like 50
Better than
quid to lay in
sleeping
a
at the
pod.
office.
Yeah,
You would never do
yeah.
that.
Luke did that.
I would never
recently.
do. Oh, I did it with you, didn't I?
No, you did it recently.
did what? With
If
him?
I done it twice, you did it once with me.
Yeah, and that was your fault as well.
Yeah. Don't sleep at the office, kids.
What happened there?
What happened was I started. I came out of a corporate event, okay, and then I was walking on the way to the station for me to go home, and then I got ambushed by a lot of big cheeses in 2 companies, of which I have to network with them. Okay,
Yeah.
I was like,
But
well, I'm
I
not.
just wanna
I'm
say
not gonna go in
Luke,
right now.
you love cheese, so that was a great thing to be with them.
That was a shit joke.
No, it wasn't a joke.
There's no cheese involved, mate.
Because you said big cheeses.
No, I meant big cheese, as in like big
I
fucking
know.
corporate people.
So it was a joke.
It's generally
I said it was a shit joke.
laughed.
generally a negative thing.
You laugh at shit jokes.
When you say big cheese,
Yeah,
it's
I
generally a
laugh at you.
negative thing because you love cheese. You love these people you spent time with.
This is such a shit joke.
It's not a joke.
It sounds like a joke. How is
It's
it not,
not.
a joke?
It does sound like even thought it was
Because
a
they're
joke
not
and he laughed
cheese.
at it.
They're not actual cheeses.
I'm not. What are you fucking
He
talking
likes
about?
actual cheeses.
Basically, what I'm saying is,
Oh.
I don't want it to sound like you don't
Am I
like
the only
these
sane
people.
one here, or am I just going mad?
I just want people to know that you like these people because you love cheese.
That's not funny.
It's not a joke.
It sounds like a
What
joke.
do you mean that's not a joke?
Because I'm trying to make sure that people don't think that you spent the people you spent time with, you don't like them in case it ruins your career.
You did say this episode you're getting sacked.
That was the
No,
last
that was the
episode.
last
No,
one.
that's the next.
Oh,
Sorry,
shit.
that's the next episode.
On the next
Oh,
one, we're filming this
fuck.
out of sequence.
It's
Whatever.
like Back to the Future. They filmed the second and third the other way around.
Yeah,
isn't
we've
it?
gone back to the past, to the future, to the present. I don't know.
Callum's been... we filmed it a
I'm
week apart.
tripping.
Callum's been wearing the same shirt for a whole week.
Yeah, it's a bit smelly under there.
Mate, you need to get new clothes. All right, here we go.
Oh, what are those regular person from
All right,
office?
listen.
Oh, I got a fucking opinion for you.
I got an opinion. Are you ready for some edginess?
No,
Right, this is totally edgy.
change the voice.
No. Right. My controversial opinion is gender-neutral toilets. What the fuck?
That's such a stupid opinion because you go on a plane and it's gender neutral. You don't
What
care.
is your opinion?
My opinion is, why is every fucking bar or office or whatever the fuck getting gender-neutral toilets in all the place?
Why
Look,
are you touching this type of debate?
I think gender-neutral toilets are fine, but however, still keep my men's only ones because I don't want to fucking line up.
How, have you been lining up?
Queuing.
Have you been queuing to
If
go
there's
to the toilet?
gender-neutral toilets, yes, because women take fucking ages. There's always a line. I don't want to share it with them. This is obviously for, other identities.
No. It's for inclusivity.
Yes, let's go with that.
No, we
No,
are
that
going
is
with
what it
that.
is.
So they should have them. But what I'm saying is, I don't want to give up my privilege of not having to line up to go for a piss.
So you're not saying then necessarily. You're saying keep the urinals.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
reasonable.
that's a reasonable thing to
I
say.
can agree
But
with that.
the whole rage you went in with it, like you was on
What
Talk
the
TV.
fuck?
It's clickbait, mate. It's clickbait. I've riled some people up. I just no. Look, all I don't care.
So basically, it's like, for
I
example,
don't care who's in the room. I just
for
don't want to line
example,
up.
Can I just give an example? You are in, you're at the airport. You have sort of your priority security, your express lane, and you have your standard one. If you need to use the full toilets, you have the full experience, you can go in the standard lane. If you want to go a bit quicker, in and out, straight through, like
just a
2
big
minutes.
gutter along the floor that you can
You just
excrete
need to
into.
go to the urinal quickly, wash your hands quickly. You still have that. I think that's a fair comment. One thing I will say, I was at a bar in London last year with Lloyd and some of his friends.
Your husband.
You keep saying that, like
What?
Some
Can't you
people
just
watching
say-
the clips, bro, they might not get the full context
with my
of the episode.
with my
With
partner,
my life partner.
and his friends.
I'm just trying to make sure people are on the same page, okay?
And
They
so-
might not
okay,
watch
okay,
the
okay.
whole episode.
And we was there, and this bar upstairs only had one toilet. And it's not a whole thing about doing gender neutral, it just had one toilet upstairs, and I really needed to go. I must have been in there like 5-10 minutes.
So you pissed on the floor.
No, but the thing is, and it stunk after, and it was like the only toilet, and everyone knew that I was the one using it because there was a queue, and it was horrible.
That's tough.
It was horrible.
I will say on the other side of the debate,
No one.
guys are messy in the toilet. Like if you ever go to like a nightclub or whatever, and they
Have
just
you
piss
seen the
all over
women's?
No.
I'm
Neither
just-
have I.
No, I haven't actually. Have you?
No.
Actually, I've got another story. So I was in Malaysia,
Yeah.
and we were at the shopping mall. We'd just driven down from
I've walked into the wrong toilets.
Malacca, and it was in obviously a Muslim country. And I walked into the toilets, and they were all coloured pink. I didn't realise. I didn't even think about it, and I walked out, and I saw like lots of women in there, and it was a horrible experience because I thought they weren't going to let me out.
You
the
should
country.
just say I identify as a woman.
Yeah, but I'm not going to say that in Malaysia, am I?
Yeah, it might not work out.
Yeah. Yeah, so I felt really bad, and I was really worried about it.
But on your idea, here's what I think. I think that was a good idea. I think you should get rid of gendered toilets, and you should just say fast lane, middle speed lane, and slow lane.
But then, do they all have
Fine.
urinals?
Standing up, crouching, or sitting down,
Yeah.
or laying in the floor. I don't fucking
Could we go
know.
for an option of like a Japanese toilet somewhere in there? You know, like with the full wash up.
Can we have like a car wash system where people just like
On a
flow
conveyor
through
belt.
on a conveyor belt?
You just piss along. Move along.
Yeah, like there's a certain amount of time. It's efficient. It's clockwork. It's fucking moving you through. Right,
There's just a lazy river going down the middle of the toilet, and you'll just shit into it, and all your turds just float off down the river.
And then it'll go to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, and no one will tell the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, good opinion, Luke, but not what you originally said. Shall I give one?
Yeah, why not?
I don't know what I've got. I think PC culture is a good thing.
You mean like master race?
No, like PC culture.
Politically correct.
No, I mean PC culture.
Politically correct or computers?
PC culture, because what I think
computers.
I mean PC culture. You've never heard that term?
Well, you fucking police
So, like,
constable?
gaming.
What are you talking about?
Like computers?
Are you talking about computers or police
Because
constables?
I just think people are much more productive with a computer than they would be without one.
Productive computers.
Personal computers, yeah.
Personal computer culture.
I think we're.
What is this? What are you talking about?
I think we're a better society with personal
computers.
culture.
Yes. What's the bit? How? What?
You were supposed to think I was talking about like political correctness.
He did.
Yeah, you fucking.
But I got it straight away. Master race. I was like,
yeah, god damn it.
Okay, listen, guys. Social media.
Nobody on listening are going to get what you're trying to do here.
Social media should be illegal.
For who? The user? Or to procure it?
Just fuck the whole thing off.
Banned.
Because we are posting this on YouTube and, you know, other social media platforms for our shorts. But what I'm not... There's a difference between posting content that I think is funny or educational. Not that I'm saying this is educational.
Or funny.
Or basically, like, something you watch for entertainment, you know. And if this isn't funny, okay, then people won't watch it. Like, that's fine. Okay, well, I'm not saying whether this is good or bad or whatever. Like, people can make up their own minds. But in the general sense, I think social media as a whole has been bad. This is a whole debate. It's bad for young people when they're like, they're growing up, they're addicted to social media platforms. They're seeing all these people of like how they should live their life or how they should look, and then it's kind of that toxic element about it.
And is this from personal experience or from family experience?
I just see a lot of people posting stuff on social media that just winds me up.
Okay. Now, I probably don't think it shouldn't be made illegal. I disagree with you there. I'd be quite happy if, you know, LinkedIn just never existed. I dislike...
Well, never existed or illegal is the same thing, basically. It's like the platform doesn't exist. It's the same outcome.
I think LinkedIn I would banish...
Let me change it to social media doesn't exist.
Yeah, I think...
Like, we'd be a better place if social media didn't exist.
I like the idea... Things like WhatsApp, things like Messenger, like chatting platforms, amazing. What it's done for civilization as a whole, you know, being able to communicate more effectively. But the whole like pretentious fucking look at me posts, oh look at my new picture, I'm at this place, look at me smiling. I'm not really happy though. I'm just fucking taking these pictures and, you know, getting those influencer vibes and fucking the whole look at me posting stuff like, oh, I've just passed this course. Oh, fucking well done, mate. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever.
So
I don't care.
I would say,
I don't care.
I would say, like, I don't know if your opinion is it should actually be illegal or if that's just like a spicy, like, hot take like, way of angling it. But I will say, like, I think, for example, when I first started watching YouTube, I don't even know what year, all I had was my people I subscribed to and my feed of people I'd subscribed to, and every day I'd see 10, 20 videos pop in and I'd watch a few of those and that would be me done. That would be like my experience over. I think it's more about like, I think you just you regulate the fuck out of like the social media companies to the point where it's like, there's no like slot machine element of like an endless scroll. There's no like super hyper deep learning algorithm that's going to pick out exactly what notifications to send you at what time. Like, I think you just strip it back to like, we're going to have a really simple thing of like, we're going to have categories, who's the most viewed content creators, here's a few people you might like. If you want to subscribe to them, they're going to show up in your feed. Like,
basically, you don't want these companies to manipulate you into like keeping you on the platform for like. There's the whole element of like, I don't want to say who this is, but it's a family member. Like, you're literally you're not doing anything else. You're so addicted to these things because the algorithm is designed to fuck your life that you're not doing anything. You're just scrolling through, you know.
The ironic thing, I think, the main culprit is obviously TikTok. When you're talking about this endless scrolling, the thing is, there is things that they can do to control the algorithm, because ultimately TikTok is somewhat related, but they won't admit it, to Douyin, the Chinese version of TikTok, same logo but separate apps, and damaging content which is on TikTok does not appear on Douyin, because ultimately the algorithm they set up for Douyin has to be within the realms of the government regulation in China. But in the West, they are able to push these things which get people engaging, which isn't healthy for them, in a way which is not really very good for people in the rest of the world. And it's not healthy. I wish you could turn off reels and shorts.
Even though we do lots of shorts, you should watch them. Hypocrite.
But we can be hypocrites because...
Oh, we are. Yeah, I love the start where it's like, ban social media unless it's like entertaining, which, no, it's like, basically ban everything on social media apart from our podcast.
Okay, but what I don't... What I specifically don't like, if you roll it back before TikTok, let's go with Instagram, okay? You got the whole culture of look at this person and how happy they are and how they look and how, you know, if you're speaking to, if it's like people in school, it's very these people are easily influenced. They're thinking, oh, I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not as good looking, and like I'm a piece of shit, and because I'm not that, which is this basically fake picture gallery that gets loads of views, that, you know, oh, look at where I am now, even though it's just a moment of time, and you're actually not happy because it's all fake bullshit with filters on.
Yep.
That's specifically what I'm talking about here, I think.
I think
for the most part.
Yeah, I think it presents a very polished, or if not fake, view of someone's life.
Yeah, I think like making it illegal is probably never going to happen. The cat is out the bag. Like, I do think we're worse off with social media than we were before.
But then what they just say is like, oh, parental controls. Well, yeah, but parents don't fucking control that. Let's be honest. Like, maybe some anal ones do. I don't know them. Like, most parents don't control that shit.
The really hard thing for parents is like trying to tell your kid, like, oh, you're going to be the only kid in your class, if not in your school, who's not allowed to use this app or have a phone. That's really hard to do, and they're going to find a way to do it anyway, and they're going to go through. And
when you tell a child not to do something, they're going to do it because you told them not to.
Yeah. So unless all parents collectively have an epiphany and go, yeah, we shouldn't be giving our kids phones, which will never happen. Like that, you'll just never get a consensus like that.
Not these days, no.
So I think you've got to
get a phone for 30 quid these days.
Schools could do more to like stop kids from at least doing it while they're at school. Governments could do more to actually hire some people who understand technology to like try and regulate these things.
We just need 1 million more Nadine Dorrises.
Just get a load of your fucking cronies who don't understand how to log into an iPad to start to make laws on these things.
Yeah, let's go back to Omegle.
That was toxic in itself.
The greater times.
When I was 16 years old.
Did you ever use Kick?
Kick was horrendous.
It's horrible.
I had so many people try and scam me on there, and I was like, I didn't really know what was going on.
This is like
MSN Messenger.
MSN, that was funny.
That was quite wholesome, actually. You weren't allowed it. You used to be able to animate the little text, so you can have
We're
little,
like
little animated E.
we weren't on MySpace though.
No, I was too young.
Yeah, we're technically Gen Z, but we're
Gen
not
Z.
the fuck Gen Z whatever. It doesn't fucking shut up.
Z, we're British.
Whatever. Right, but we're not Zoomers, okay? But we're also not millennials because I didn't have MySpace.
But I think it's
So I
things
think we
like,
need a new gen, basically.
I can't really relate with the whole Friends era, but I can't really relate with like the whole TikTok era.
Yeah.
I find it a bit weird because I just don't get things like Friends and
That's why
Yeah.
I've brought on my younger sister as a consultant for our TikTok channel.
yeah.
Nice.
So
I'm
and
like, peep here, some of them have, like, we just started, okay? If you're watching this when this comes out, it's like, some of this shit has like 2,000 views on. I'm like, this is wild. Like, these shorts
Yeah.
are doing so well. Like,
I did see like there's a this is like such a tangent. I mean, marketing agencies will value one YouTube view as much as like 2,500 TikTok views. Like that's how heavily they'll weigh. Like, so they'll see it as 25 times less
But
valuable.
that's bollocks because you get the same YouTube Shorts views as you do TikTok views.
Like for like a big creator, they would need you to have like, if
I get that
they'll
to some extent.
they'll sign up if you have 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. They'll want you to have like.
But
2.5
views
million
don't
on
matter.
TikTok.
What matters is returning viewers. Is it a returning viewer?
Yeah.
Because you could click on something and then piss off. But if you're a returning viewer, you've clicked on a video from a video you saw previously. So you like the first one, so you clicked on it again. That metric is more important.
Yeah, I just think the perception is there's so many people on TikTok and people follow much more frivolously. Whereas, like, if I'm going to subscribe to someone on YouTube, I've normally made like a conscious decision of like, oh, I like this person, like, click. I'm more likely to then spend money when they recommend a product or like.
yeah.
Anyway, random tangent.
Anyway, and on that TikToking bombshell, if I can be any less uncool, thank you very
You're
much.
so out of touch with like the generation, the young people these days.
All
Callum.
these
You're
do you know what?
you're turning into an old fart.
I'll be becoming one of these white middle-aged men who goes, "Oh, my daughter loves using TikTok."
Back in my day, we were doing this.
Yeah, but I think hopefully I've not quite got to that point yet, mostly because I don't have a daughter.
Old geezer.
But thank you very much for watching, listening, wherever you subscribe to this podcast. Please do be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and be sure to keep up to date with us. And I basically said the same thing 3 times. We'll catch you next week. Bye!